Alrighty, guys, welcome back to E2W Coast Sports. We're going to be touching on the Warriors-Memphis game last night and then talk a little bit of Celtics as well. So let's jump into the Memphis game here. What seemed to be a recap of the game previously, I think it was 9 days ago that they played each other. Memphis had great shooting behind the arc. Memphis was 30 for 59 in 6 quarters against the Warriors. So that was the previous game, all 4 quarters, and then the first 2 quarters of this game last night. Memphis is 26 in three-point shooting, and you have Bane knocking down shots, which he's definitely their best shooter, so that makes sense. But then you have Brooks walking up into off-the-dribble three-point shots. You have Jaren Jackson's weird leaning three-point shot that was going in. Luke Kennard, who can definitely shoot. I mean, he's leading the league in three-point percentage, so you can't leave him open. But everyone was hitting last night. And the Warriors were still battling. The Warriors were still in the game, especially in the fourth quarter. Steph and Clay had a rough offensive game. Dre didn't really show up at all. Kuminga was the one who was keeping us in this game. Kuminga was making everything. He was shooting the three really well. He was slashing to the rim. He was getting dunks. He was just being a monster on the offensive end. It's really cool to see sort of these flashes of Kuminga. I think he has a lot of potential to be sort of a lead offensive player on this team. Maybe not next year, maybe the year after that, we'll see. But these flashes where he's shooting in the corner now, which is great, so it's a little bit easier of a shot. Teams are still leaving him open so he can catch that rhythm and then shoot a clean open three. And then when he slashes to the rim, he is a threat to catch a body. You know, he is an elite athlete. So he's going to go up, he's going to dunk on you, or he's going to get fouled. He's not afraid to go to the free throw line. So it was really cool to see sort of Kuminga, what he has, in the bag, his potential offensively. And then defensively, I mean, he's moving his feet. He's really long. He's super athletic. He's making it tough for guys. And I think, Kuminga is going to be one of those players that we lean on down the road, both defensively and offensively. I think a lineup of Kuminga, GP2, Wiggins, Draymond, Clay, Steph, whoever, combination of those guys. That's gonna be a really good lineup. Last night just emphasized again, we need Wiggins, we need GP2. I saw this on Twitter. It looked like GP2 did suit up for practice and sort of warm-ups before the game. So that's really encouraging. When the Warriors first acquired him, it sort of seemed like, is he even going to play this year? Is he going to come back before the playoffs? Is he going to come back during the playoffs? If he can come back before the playoffs, catch a few games, get a rhythm going, I think he'll be ready for the playoffs. So let's talk about Poole in the third quarter. Poole had a really, really good third quarter, kept us in it. I believe we were down by 10 or 12, which sort of seemed like the entire game. And he had a flurry, just a pool party where he was making threes, he was slashing, he was getting fouled, kept us in the game, got us back to Clay and Steph coming back into the game. And there was a point when it was 104, 106, and then 106, 108, and Memphis just went on a huge run. It's so discouraging to see, man, because these teams, this is sort of just a flashback of last night where John Collins was bombing from three. Brooks was perfect from three. I don't know if he ended perfect for three, but he was. And he is not a shooter. Neither is John Collins. Neither is half these guys. And they're just taking warm-up threes. Again, I don't know if it's a rhythm that they're catching early on when we're just sort of playing lackadaisical. And then it turns into, it doesn't matter if you're contesting, I'm going to make this shot. Brooks is by far the easiest person to hate in the NBA. His faces, his demeanor, the way that he carries himself on and off the court, it's just not fun to watch, dude. I mean, I get it. He's a hustle player. He's not a bad player by any means. He's a good defender. He can, make some shots, but overall, he's not an offensive threat. And last night, he was a huge offensive threat. And Draymond he talked all that talk a couple weeks ago, and he has not backed it up against Memphis, at least. He, I think he had 11 or 12 points. He had a couple rebounds. He had a couple assists, sort of normal Draymond stat line. But you never felt Draymond. You never felt his impact. He wasn't closing out like he normally does. He wasn't protecting the rim like he normally does. It's just frustrating, man. I mean, you're going to go on your podcast and you're going to talk your shit and then you're not going to back it up. we need it more than ever right now, and it just, he hasn't been there. So we got 2 more games on this road trip. We're 0-3, Clippers, Atlanta, Memphis, all L's. We need these last 2, man. We really need these last 2. They are probably the easiest ones. It's Houston and then Dallas. With the way that these Warriors have been playing on the road, it just, how confident can any Warriors fan be right now? Even teams like Houston who are like, yeah, that's a lock to win. Normally, most seasons, with they're actively tanking, you can't even say like, oh yeah, that's going to be a win because it's on the road. It's crazy. All right, let's touch on the Celtics here for a little bit. Celtics are going through it as well. They had a 19-point lead against Utah, and they blew it. Bill Simmons keeps tweeting out about no Derek White in crunch time, and he keeps saying Derek White is their 3rd best player, which I don't know the numbers exactly. I trust Bill Simmons on that. And you then follow that up with a Grant, driving layup to try to win the game. Like, you're not tied. This isn't tied. You're down by 1. And Grant goes for a layup and then gets blocked. I mean, there was 2 really tall Utah players at the rim meeting. There was, I believe it was Markkanen and then Kessler at the rim, both ready for him. Where was the play to like drive and then kick to either Jaylen Brown or Tatum or Brogdon, whoever, right? Any of those guys would have had a better look than Grant Williams driving to the rim. I don't know, man. That just, it really goes back to questioning Joe Mazzulla. Can he really coach in tough times? Can he coach in crunch time? Did they just have a really good season because the players had a really good season to start, and now that things are a little bit tough, is he not the guy to rally this team and get them ready for these big games, or just to be consistent? Because the Celtics that we're seeing right now, they're not going to win the East at all. I would put the Celtics easily in the 3rd spot. I think it goes Bucks, I think it goes Sixers, and then Celtics. You could even say, a Celtics Cavs series would be a 50-50 just because of how good the Cavs can play defense, and on any night they can really score. So I don't know what to think as far as, how the Celtics have been playing lately. They're like 1 for 4, I think is their last. I think they've lost 3 out of 4, and they dropped to the 3rd seed. So what is there, about 10, let's say 10-ish games left. Enough times for the Celtics to get a rhythm back, enough for the Warriors to catch a rhythm. But, these last 3 games have just been so disappointing because, even in halftime deficits or 15-point, 20-point deficits, the Warriors are battling and they're getting back into the game. Like I said, there was 10 minutes left. It was 104-106. Klay had just hit a little free throw line jumper. All right, let's take over. It's, we have plenty of time here. Let's buckle down. No, the exact opposite. They just let, Bain shoot, Triple J shoot. Brooks walks up into a 3-pointer. Luke Kennard hits a 3-pointer, and then boom, game's over, right? I mean, it was like a 3-ish minute span where it was just like all Grizzlies, game over. So super discouraging. Not really excited for these upcoming road games, but I hope they can pull it back together. Let's do one last thing on Wiggins here. I mean, you keep hearing a lot of rumors, and it seems like the rumors are not true. So no one really knows what's going on with Wiggins. It is frustrating from a fan perspective, like, okay, so it's personal reasons, but you keep saying he's just out. Are we going to get any sort of evaluation of, it could be before the playoffs, it could not be the rest of the season? Alchemy talked about, are these Warriors who are playing right now just dogging it because they know Wiggins isn't coming back? And if Wiggins doesn't come back, that's a wrap. We're not gonna win a finals, right? I mean, maybe we win a playoff series or 2, but we're not gonna win the finals without Wiggins. He was the second best player on the team. I don't know. I really feel bad for Wiggins because clearly it's something super, devastating for him to be out for since before the All-Star break. So we'll see, man. We got Houston next. It's got to be a win. They need a morale win. They need a win in the win-loss column. I don't know. All right, guys. Until next one. Thanks.